Greetings, Minecrafters, and welcome to another Minecraft episode today. My name is Kimberly Quinn, and I can't wait to have a discussion on the whole, us, is way more than the sum of its parts. And this is so Minecraft. Thoughts first, feelings second, actions, behaviors third. Is the foundation becoming the boss of your brain. It is so important to realize that we are way more than the sum of everybody who's been involved in our lives. It's actually very gestalt. Right? It's amazing. And so where this inspiration is coming from today, oh, the birds are chirping so loudly. I just love the symphony. Saw a couple of blue jays, going at it earlier, just beautiful. Anyway, and my inspiration for this episode is our oldest son's wedding. Just this weekend, which was just amazing, just incredible. And I couldn't help, I'm just entrenched in all of it. And if you look around, you got his 80-year-old grandmother, there we go, 80-year-old grandmother and almost 80-year-old grandfather tearing up the dance floor, his new bride Jamie's parents and siblings all there. And you realize that oftentimes when two people get married, they tend to think it's all about them, and it is all about them as far as it's the spotlight's on them, obviously, but it's bigger than two people coming together. It's just so much bigger. And that's not what the whole episode is about. That's my first example, because it's really about two families coming together. Excuse me. Two families, two lifetimes coming together. Excuse me. Okay, I'm back. I'm not sure that was like a little coughing fit or I swallowed yet another black fly. So I'm filling my protein quota. Anyway, it's so much bigger because you think of everything that has shaped them and everything that has shaped us. So the celebration in the room, which was, they were all dancing animals, and our son had his I kept calling him his boy posse. Obviously he's a young man now, but from high school, from Boston College where he went to school, and roommates didn't go to either one, all coming together. And obviously everything, your parents were involved and grandparents. It's just huge. And so that comes into, what shapes us. And I used to teach a class, Applied Psych, which is no longer at Champlain because they merged it to become better with another one. Like they made it great into this Cornerstone class. But anyway, I used to do this activity in there, and the students loved it, with what shapes us. And then we actually they got to pick. They didn't have to share it if they didn't want to, of course, but who has shaped you the most? And I didn't mean just brought some good stuff into your life, because that's all important, but I meant who has shaped you in a sense that your life would not be the same without that person. And a lot of them would get really emotional, and most of them did share them. It is, again, their choice. But it's when you're really sort of encouraged to stop and think about it consciously and write it down, it's amazing. And it brings to the surface this realization that we don't really do anything alone. We might think we are, but we don't do anything alone, because it's from the ground up, and the influential people in our lives are all part of us. We're carrying them with us. You often hear them on the Oscars. They thank, I want to thank this one, that one, I couldn't have done, Famous people are very quick to admit they didn't do it alone. And also, I think of, I'm having a total stray brain cell now, like Mulan with the ancestors, all the emphasis on the ancestors, and how those who are no longer physically with us are still very much alive. And there was a recently, it's been more than one recently, where one of our young adults was kind of perseverating over something that was, she might have said something she wished she didn't say, she apologized, whatever, but she couldn't let it go. What do they think? And it wasn't anything enormous, really, I don't think. But I said, I called my grandmother, who was my everything as a child, Grammy, and my kids called her Gigi for great grandma. And I said, honey, you've already apologized. You can't turn the clocks back. Here it is. Gigi would say, less said, sooner mended. And that's just an example of I would say, stop thinking about it. Thoughts lead to feelings. It's going to be a cycle. The brain loves patterns. You're reinforcing it. I'd say all that stuff. She said it a lot more simply with less said, sooner mended. Just stop. And then she did, and it was over. It's amazing. And the point is that my wonderful grandmother, who's long since gone to her great reward, as she would say, is still part of me, now part of our kids. It's amazing. It's just amazing. And that brings me to also the idea of the chosen family being just as important, and for some of us, more important than the family we were born into, because we have this thing that we shoulda, woulda, coulda, have to. Catholic guilt or any kind of guilt, obligated, honor their mother and father. And I strongly believe in that as long as they've earned it. You know, it took me a long time to get there. And we're not talking about just cashing in your chips easily. That's not it. It's just when somebody's actually toxic, like it's like drinking turpentine instead of orange juice for breakfast, then they gotta go. And so then we can choose our own families. And a lot of people, just takes a while to get there, but wow. And I also love that people are now saying this. In fact, I just had another stray brain cell. At our youngest graduation at St. Lawrence just 2 weeks ago, a lot going on in this family, they actually said that everybody stand up in the auditorium if you had something to do with getting your graduate there. And of course, the entire auditorium stood up. Again, we don't do anything on our own. And they said, I forgot how they said it, families born into or something, and chosen families. And I was like, oh my God, thank you. Thank you for being so inclusive, because my entire family's chosen. We chose to have our 5 kids. The youngest, a little bit of a surprise, but we certainly wouldn't send her back. I love my Spice Child. The point is, I wanted a litter of kids. I knew that I did. And also my husband's family. You know, I just absolutely love them. And occasionally my mother-in-law will say, honey, you're our daughter, and it's like the sweetest thing. And then I'll make a joke, Ma, it's thank you, but it sounds like a bad country song. You know what I mean? And daughter birthday cards, not daughter-in-law. I mean, they're just amazing, and I'm so blessed to have them. And then I had, for our son's wedding, I had his godmother there, who is my family too. And then I had chosen family who weren't able to be there. But it's just, gosh, the whole point is that we are way more than who we're looking at in the mirror every single day. Because all this energy, we're all spiritual beings having this human experience, and we're all divinely connected. And those who we are connected with the most, those wonderful, those lovelies who we are connected to the most, go with us, whether they're physically here or they're not. And therefore, we are way bigger than the sum of our parts. And we're way bigger than God-given talent, right? Because those lovelies are supporting us in it and pulling it out of us. There's so many famous quotes about, you know, talent left alone and untapped into. I'm just ad-libbing here, not ad-libbing, paraphrasing different people. You know, basically, your God-given talent plus 450 will get you a Red Bull, unless you actually do something with it. And it's typically the lovelies in our lives. You know, Michael Phelps would admit that. His mother supported him all the way through. You can have all that swimming talent, but if nobody notices as a little kid and gets you into programs, I mean, you know? And so that's it. We are just way bigger, way, way, way bigger, spiritually bigger than just who we're looking at in the mirror. And that's it. The whole is bigger, way bigger than the sum of its parts. This is Kimberly Quinn signing off from my freshly mowed backyard, although not this half. We'll go this way. Okay. Freshly mowed backyard. Have a mindful day.